Yes, my name is Lingram, and I'm now 64 years old. I used to lead a pretty active lifestyle, golfing every week, and enjoyed maintaining my garden of various plants and veggies. Probably in my last life, I was a farmer. My medical and physical difficulties all began when I was hospitalized for a stroke in 2020. My life was saved by the good doctors despite multiple complications. I regained consciousness after 5 days, but was somewhat in a sedated state. I was told that my right brain was adversely affected and would have a long road ahead to recovery through a multimodality treatment of medication, physiotherapy, speech therapy, and occupational therapy. I had immense pain at my left kidney region and was told that my left kidney had been embolized. Embolized meaning uh, it's been cut off, not not physically cut off, but sealed due to a, due to three hematomas that was caused during my fall on the night of my stroke. The excruciating pain did not cease for 8 months. That was terrible. Meanwhile, I was dependent on blood thinner as the doctors did not recommend a neurosurgery to correct a narrow blood vessel in my head due to complications that had occurred. I had the good fortune of having a personal physiotherapist who attended to me from sunrise to sunset. About 1 year down the road, the doctor announced that scans revealed that my left kidney was functioning normal and I was progressively discharged from the various specialist checkups. That was the day of my awakening that my body was capable of self healing. How did my kidney survive for 1 year without blood flow? The good doctor explained that new blood vessels had grown into my kidney to supply blood to it despite the main artery being sealed. It dawned on me that with proper intake of the right food, good sleep, and constant exercise, my body was regenerating and regrowing. I had three main deficiencies at this stage. Do you notice my difficulty in speaking? I was not able to speak more than two words in sequence. My brain was lethargic, unable to allow me to communicate spontaneously. I lacked energy or strength despite walking miles daily. I was just not progressing. My life was bleak and hopeless. Then, bang, right in front of me was my wife who told me that she had recovered from her shoulder pain. I seized the moment by requesting her to give me the patch that worked well on her. She had been using a sort of a strange looking patch. And I never bothered to ask her about it at all because I had my own troubles and I was busy doing physiotherapy and exercising and walking in circles around the lake. And so I never actually questioned her about it. But the moment that she said that she had healed by just using a simple looking plastic patch, I took notice of it and I said, let me have it. I will want to use it. And that put fear in her because I, she preferred that doctors be consulted before I start using them because I'm a stroke patient, you see. I'm, she didn't want to put me into trouble. I seized the moment by requesting her to give me the patch that worked well on her. She hesitatingly affixed the patch at my GV14 as doctors had not been consulted. The rest is history. By the first night using X39, I was confident that my incontinence had been resolved. Though I looked as though that I had recovered, I had a lot of things not working well inside me. One was it was incontinence. I had to wake up at least twice a night and go into the bathroom and come back, and I'll feel very groggy and stumble into a bathroom and stumble out of the bathroom. When I did not have to wake up the first time when I used the X39, that made a great impact on me. It just told me that incontinence is nothing. I had been going for physiotherapy to settle my incontinence problem for about probably 2.5 months earlier, but it has always been there and it was not reducing at all. And here was a patch that I used just for 8 hours, and it solved my incontinence immediately. So I found it very, very impactful. By the first night of using it, I was like, oh, this must be really good. And by the third day, I realized that my postural hypotension had subsided. Postural hypotension is when, when I lower my head, I raise my head quickly, I become dizzy and I could faint. And doctors warned me not to do that because if I faint, I can have another stroke. So though I looked as though I'm normal and healthy, I was a walking time bomb. So it subsided in the third day. There was no dizziness after lowering my head. By the fifth day of use, my energy levels were expanding beyond my imagination. I spent 3 hours under the hot afternoon sun, working on my short game in the practice green at Kodapurmai GCC. It took me more than 2.5 years of pain and torment to find life wave. I wish that I had found it sooner.
How do you feel, and your journey on to recovery
Mhm.
has taken you a very short time, I understand. Yeah. So how do you feel when you first use the X39?
Well, I realize it is happening too soon. What is happening to me might not be happening to any other person. I'm getting a lot of relief because of my heavy physiotherapy and physical activities all through the time in the past 3 years. So I I believe that X39 found me as a good candidate to relieve me of all my past pains because I've been paying paying hard labor for it.
I see. So besides the X39, did you use any other patches?
Well, by the fifth day, I was so amazed that I actually overstayed my time in the practice green, and I knew that the next day I would be tired. I expected myself to be tired in the morning the next day, and true enough, when I came down for breakfast, and while having breakfast, I mentioned to my wife that I have a slight pain in the neck, and she just turned around and opened the cabinet and came in with another patch and placed it on my neck where the pain was. I didn't even
Okay.
ask her what patch that was. Later, I realized that was an Aeon patch. And the
I see.
amazing thing is that by the time I finished my breakfast, I had no more pain. I was free of pain in the neck. Yeah.
Okay. So there is a question in the chat room by Sa Era again. She wants
Mhm.
to know what patches you use to recover or heal from your stroke, or that has helped you in your stroke.
Well,
Yes, Mr. Lingram. Okay. Besides the thrombectomy, what patches do you use? I understand you use the X39. Were there any other patches that you use?
I used the X39 and Aeon.